Wonderful. Each day we are discovering talents in our college, and there will be no end to it. And that's why St. Stephen's College is respected throughout the country. Okay? Now, I have a little feedback on what I shared with you Wednesday last week on asking questions with the intention to preserve as well as enrich our life. Preservation, enrichment in the Heideggerian phrase, right? Now, I think much of the confusion is on account of the names that I may have mentioned. I mentioned Plato, I mentioned Hegel, I mentioned Heidegger. Sometimes we get a little frightened or overawed or burdened when names stumble out. I'll try and keep names out of what we say henceforth, except when it is absolutely essential. One of the reasons why references are incorporated into our morning reflections is to enable you to pursue that field of thought on your own further by reading some of these authors who are not included in your prescribed syllabus. Right? There is a world beyond your syllabus, and one of the things I really want to do is to illumine that world, howsoever, briefly. So I will try and make what I said last Wednesday a little more intelligible. All right? I hope you remember what I said on Wednesday. Okay? So, how do we ask questions that will enhance our life? That much is simple enough. All right? And last Wednesday, I was trying to explain to you the logic behind the need to ask such questions. What is the need? The need is that human life, as it is lived in the familiar routine sense, is many times removed from the ideal. There is an ideal life. Actually, all of us experience that intuition one way or another. And at the same time, we also realize that we are far away from that ideal. And that's why very often we have a sense of low self-worth. That's why happiness evaporates from our life. Invariably, whenever we come into contact with the ideal life, we experience ecstasy, immense happiness. This is the only secret of happiness that I know. Happiness cannot be purchased from the market. No expensive gadget, no esoteric worldly experience in the consumerist sense can actually make you happy. They may induce pleasure, which is very different from happiness. Happiness automatically, naturally, spontaneous comes into being when we are in touch with the ideal. For example, when I construct a perfect and beautiful sentence, either in writing or in speaking, I experience deep happiness. When I'm able to present an idea in all its glory and fullness, I experience ecstasy. When an athlete is able to express his or her potential to the uttermost, whether or not he or she wins the gold medal, that person will surely experience great happiness. But this happiness seems to be a mirage that eludes our grasp because we really do not understand the basic principles about pursuing and experiencing happiness. So this is our theme today. Now, in order to understand this more clearly, I would like you to go back to this text that was read out a short while ago. And I'll just remind you of the basic things, the skeletal information on the text. It says, do not worry about what you will eat, what you will drink, what you will wear. So such questions, and such questions are being asked all the time. All of our life is filled today with such questions. Now, questions may not always be in that form, but the essence of the questions we are asking, either verbally or silently, would only amount to these things. I should have the best clothes. I should eat the best food. I must live in the best house. And I must have all the accessories that go with it, including jazzy cars and, all kinds of consumer electronics and all the rest of it. You know this. We don't have to waste time on this. So if you really distill the quintessence of the questions around which we organize our life, we realize, to our great embarrassment, there are questions, or the scope of our questions does not go beyond this. What shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? These three things seem to sum up human life, human existence on earth. And the fact of the matter is that if you do not go beyond these questions, you will consign yourself to a life of worry. And that's why the text says, do not worry about what you will eat, what you will drink, what you will wear. What it simply means is that as long as life and thinking accommodates only questions pertaining to these very basic material things, things that are only tools and means and not the goals of life, your life will always be plagued with worries. Why? Because worry or anxiety or tension is the inevitable result of your not growing. A person who is growing as a human being in terms of his potentialities, his talents, his abilities, his scope, will never worry. Worriment is a symptom of stagnation. For example, some people, some students experience great nervousness or tension just before the examination, right? Does it happen? Hota hai aisa? Kabhi kabhi hota hai, right? Now, you must understand immediately the meaning of it. A student who has studied consistently throughout the year, not keeping in mind the examination, but keeping a different goal, which is to develop my sensibility, to develop my thinking process, to develop my repertoire of knowledge and wisdom, and therefore to grow through this process of learning day by day, will actually look forward to the examination with almost impatient happiness. Just can't wait for the examination. It's true. On the contrary, if you experience tension at the thought of examination, it means that you are not really geared to the right goal and you are not adopting the right approach to studies. All right? Therefore, there is a need to ask a question. The question is, am I studying? Or am I simply preparing for the examination from day number one? The two are very different. Okay? So there is a need to interrogate the very style and practice of being a student. What is a goal that shapes my life as a student? Am I here only to write an examination? Or am I here to grow and celebrate my life? Am I here to prepare myself for my future? Am I here to prepare myself for the great things that await me and the great work that I need to do, the contributions that I need to make to the species to which I belong? Now that is a very different experience. So we need to interrogate the littleness of the life that we lead. What shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? If our imagination, if our concerns do not go beyond this very narrow limit, you can catch hold of a donkey and tie it to a tree, okay? And let the rope be 10 feet long, okay? The donkey is free to move in a radius of 10 feet around the tree. That's all. Within the 10 feet radius, the donkey can have something to eat, within that 10 feet radius, the donkey has the space to eat something, to drink something, and if you are generous, to wear something. There are people who clothe their puppies in grand style. Why not a poor donkey, right? So, all that is possible within that 10 feet radius. Now, we could live like that. We could live like the donkey that is tied to a tree, which is free to ask only 3 questions or 2.5 questions. What shall I eat? What shall I drink? And what, if you may, shall I wear? And that is the littleness of the life that we are leading nowadays. This is very pathetic. So as long as you lead a life of that kind, you will never grow and know the fullness of your being. And anything that falls short of its fullness has no value. And what has no value can generate no happiness, no self-confidence, no self-worth. You understand? Now, therefore, because our creation is so great, because our scope is so glorious, it's an insult to ourselves to live like a donkey of this kind. Though the consumerist world encourages you to eat more and more better quality straw, that's what the market will give you. More purified whatever to drink. From today onwards, the donkey will not drink water, but will drink Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola. And the donkey will wear not sari, but acid-washed stuff, whatever. You see, that's all. But there is a horizon that awaits you. That horizon needs to be intuited. And you will begin to intuit that horizon only if you interrogate your present attitude to life, your present vision of life, your present mindset, your present worldview. Okay? That's why it is important to ask questions. And now the second part of what we need to do today is this. All right? We have now realized that there is a problem with the way we see ourselves and the way we see our lifestyle. Our life and our lifestyle. So what are we to do additionally? The text says, if you want to lead a life free from worries about tomorrow, if you want to lead a life that is marked by dignity and self-confidence, If you want to lead a life that is punctuated by richness, then you have to look beyond your stomach, look beyond your body, what you wear, look beyond the material accessories of life, and ask some questions which only human beings can ask. No other animal can ask such questions. What are these questions? Questions that concern justice. Seek first the kingdom of God and His justice, God's justice. Now, the fact of the matter is that human species has throughout history failed to do justice to one another. All of us want justice to be given to us, but we will not do justice to others. And that's a problem with human nature. So we have to interrogate our own nature by which we see the practice of justice as a one-way traffic. Everything about life must be marked by mutuality, two-way traffic. If I want justice, I must do justice. I cannot receive justice without giving it. Every good thing in life, every glorious and meaningful thing in life can be had only by giving it. Now, I've said to you something extremely important. Will you remember this? You can have something profound, something valuable, something life-enriching only by giving it. You cannot just receive it as a one-way traffic. You will receive it only in the process of giving it. Do you want to be loved? For God's sake, love. And let your love be love. Love without dissimulation. Love which is not polluted by selfishness. Do you want peace? Give peace to others. Do you want justice? Practice justice. That's why the scripture teaches, do unto others what you would that they should do unto you. Now it is exactly the opposite. Now I cannot tell you what transformation comes about in your personality when you begin to seek justice. What should you seek? Not food, not clothes, not shelter. Seek justice. You are living in a society of incredible injustice, organized injustice. People pursue injustice with a sort of religious fervor which puts to shame the worst zealot in the realm of conventional religions. People pursue injustice. The kind of energy and economic resources that are invested into doing injustice to others. You are seeing this daily, but you don't understand what is happening and why it is happening. For me, the corruption that is choking this country to death is fundamentally a collapse of education. It is the result of not having educated the people. It is my considered conviction, ladies and gentlemen, that in this country, the project of education has not even begun. Having worked in this field now for 42 years, I hang my head in shame. What we call education is a mockery of education. And that's the reason why this country is suffocated to death by the stink of corruption. Who are the corrupt people? Every one of them is a beneficiary of higher education. Every one of them. People who are bleeding this country to death are the educated people. Why is it that though this mockery and this insult to the nation has gone on now over 6 decades, nobody asks the question, why is this happening and what is it that we need to do about it? Has anyone asked that question? Nobody has. Nobody will. But from St. Stephen's College, that question must go. And all of you need to ask that question, not only your principal. And unless and until such questions are asked, life will continue to be a mockery. Life will become a caricature. We will become an embarrassment to ourselves. You can stick your degrees on your forehead, but life will judge you and condemn you. And I say this with a lot of pain. Seek justice. Ask yourself the question, in my context today, do I care for justice? But please remember that there can be no justice without truth. After the trial, a judge issues a verdict, right? A judgment, that's called verdict. Now the word verdict is a word of Latin origin. It is compacted out of two roots, ver and dico. Ver means truth, dico is speaking. So when the judge issues a verdict, he is actually telling the truth. Through a prolonged trial, the judge establishes the truth of this particular atrocity, this infringement. Without truth, there can be no justice. Don't you realize that the world you are living in, what shall we eat? What shall we drink? And what shall we wear, right? Nothing more than this. There is great unhappiness brewing in this college because this question of tea at 4 o'clock. I said, yes, I will allow tea at 4 o'clock. But we'll have to make tea ourselves. And then I was told, no, it's our entitlement, tea at 4 o'clock. I have come and made tea for everyone. This whole idea of tea is my invention. The idea is, by making tea for ourselves, we will develop some idea of the difficulties that our non-teaching staff undergo in keeping the college going, so that we develop some sense of respect for dignity of labor and a touch of gratitude towards those who are daily laboring to make our life comfortable and beautiful. No, that's a great insult. What is the vision with which you are? So a cup of tea is more important than justice. What will I drink? Right? A cup of tea is more important. A used paper cup is more important than the character of the college. Ask some questions. What are you living for? Please ask some questions. When people come to you selling their ideology and try to infect you with their grievance hunting mentality, ask some questions. Why is a paper cup so important? Why is it that we can't put the used paper cup in the dustbin or the trash can? Why can't we do it? Ask that question. And don't say that we have a fundamental right and an entitlement to litter the college campus with used disposable paper cups. And that's where we have reached. Hey, if you can't understand the obscenity of this attitude, the poverty of this perception, it's a heartbreaking reality. So please ask, right? And these are the life-enriching questions. I'm just giving you only an illustration. I can go on giving you illustrations till thy kingdom come. There's no need for it. You're intelligent people. Let's rise for prayer.